I saw a man lose his humanity, which is why I decided to fight for mental health. My name is Anandhi Selvaraju, and this is the harsh reality I faced when my father was unjustly harmed by a member of our society, a man battling severe mental illnesses. That man killed my father, but long before that moment, the world had already failed him. He was battling severe mental illnesses while unseen and unheard by a system that too often neglects those who need help the most. The impact on me was not only due to the loss of my father, but it was due to the realization that this tragedy could have been completely preventable if that man had received treatment. The man who killed my father was not born violent. He could have lived a normal and happy life with the right care and support, but instead, he was forced to suffer in silence. And that silence turned into pain, and that pain turned into something unthinkable. He was failed by a system that too often neglects those who need help the most. Amidst my grief, I kept asking myself, what if? What if he had received support? What if mental health wasn't put on the back burner until it actually hurt people? What if mental health was given the same importance and urgency as physical health? These are all questions that plagued me and also sparked an interest in me to learn more, not just about my own experience, but about an issue that affects our society as a whole, mental health. My father's story is not an individual one. It is a part of a problem that many people wrestle with. And if mental health isn't addressed and prevented, it will affect every single one of us. Think about this. 1 in 7 youth face a mental health struggle. And amongst those, many are ashamed and embarrassed to seek help because of the stigma that we have built around mental health. And those who do seek treatment are often denied the treatments they so undeniably need. This causes catastrophic consequences, not only for themselves, but for their friends, families, and other members of society as well. That is why we need to make a change. My father's narrative is just one among thousands. It is a ripple in a vast ocean of stories that shows us what happens when mental health is ignored. But don't worry, there is still hope. We, the youth, can rewrite this story. And while we're done waiting for politicians, institutions, and societies to change, we are the change. And that is why I am here today. Mental illnesses create boundaries, those limits in how we see ourselves, those walls that keep us from sharing our stories, and those barriers that keep us from seeking help. We have been taught from a young age that talking about mental health is something that we should be ashamed about, that we shouldn't let our dirty laundry air, and instead we should grit our teeth and suffer in silence. But what if, instead of letting these boundaries hold us back, we stepped beyond them? What if we actually acknowledged and healed, sharing our stories, and letting others know that they are not alone in their struggles? Mental health goes beyond the individual. It affects us all. But as youth, we are positioned in a unique way to push against these boundaries. We can create change. We can advocate in our schools, communities, and governments to actually push for policies that make mental health a norm. And above all, we can set an example. We can be the ones that reach out to our friends and families, making sure that they are okay, and letting them know that we are always there to listen without judging. We can be there for others, and we can make sure that mental health isn't something that has to be stigmatized. It is something that people should be able to openly talk about. Envision a world where every school has mental health resources. Envision a world where mental health isn't something that we need to be ashamed to talk about. Envision a world where mental health is treated with the same urgency as physical health. We can make it a reality, but it begins with me. It begins with you. It begins with all of us getting together to make a change. If we all push for advocacy and make sure that mental health isn't just a priority, but an integral part of everyday care, there will be change. What we have to do will not be easy, and change will not happen overnight. And if you yourself are struggling, know that 1 in 4 Americans face mental health issues. Nevertheless, 80% of those who have sought treatment have improved drastically. This shows that access to care works, and it saves lives. So let's not wait. Let's act. Let's talk. Let's listen. Let's create a future where no one has to suffer in silence, where seeking help isn't something to be ashamed about, and where mental health is something that we can talk about as much as physical health. Tragedies happen, but with the right care and support, they can be prevented. Narratives such as my father's shouldn't have to happen again. Together, we can make this vision a reality. Thank you.